To set up communications for the NSJ to be able to talk over Ethernet to other devices, or to be able to talk to the NSJ, you've got to do a little setup in the NSJ first. Unlike a CJ, you actually do all the Ethernet setup for the PLC in an NSJ. You do it all through the CX Designer software. So you go to Systems, or System tab up here, and then you choose COM setting. And since it's an NSJ, you have to have the controller set up, because the screen is typically talking to the controller that's built in. So you would set up the controller, and then, but we need to set up Ethernet. So let's click on the Ethernet option, and we're going to enable it. And then you have to set up the network address and the node address. Now the node address should be generally the last octet of the IP address. And so, here's node address 12, and the last octet of this IP address is 12. Now this is actually a Class A address, but it's got a Class C subnet on it, and you really need the Class C subnet with this to make it work. That's the reason it's going to work. I don't know how that works for you, but that's what it's going to need to operate here. To do other than that, you have to do something a little bit different. But this does need to be Class C in a Class C subnet. But because it's got a Class A actual address, you still need to put all the devices that the NSJ is going to be talking to. So I've got a couple devices here. We're not using 6, but 22 is my computer, and my computer is set up as 10.1.15.22. So I put that in the conversion table so that it would be able to talk to it. So that's the complete network setup here to set up the network to be able to talk to it externally. So I'm going to click OK on that. And just to show you, if I click on a button here, you'll see controller is the option, and that's talking to the PLC that's built into the NSJ. So, but you should be able to talk to this remotely. Now, if I minimize this, and I go over to my ladder software, let me get that, and look here, and if I go into my setup, you notice I've got it set up for Ethernet, and I chose, remember it was network 1, and I said I want to talk to network 1 and node 12, and the driver shows that I want to be talking to 10.1.15.12, and then auto detect is local, and that should be the last octet of the hard set IP address that you give this. If it's not the last octet, you can click this and type in the last octet of whatever your hard address for that wire is right there. So if I do that, then I should be able to go online with the PLC. And boom, I'm online with the NSJ. So that's an example of communication directly via Ethernet to the NSJ, and with the setups on both ends. Thank you.